Hello, my name is James Chandler, CEO and activist of Federal Bureau of Investigation, F.B.I. Angels. Yes, and my rights are reserved under UCC 1-308 without prejudice, so you don't have to go and look me up. I have rights to privacy, and that's established under the 14th Amendment, my 14th Amendment right. This video will be addressed to governmental officials. I have a list of you guys, to the 36th District Court and its judges and its lawyers and counselors there, to the Chief of Police, the Detroit Police Department, to the Judicial Tenure Commission, to governmental officials everywhere that is in violation daily of we the people's rights. And as an activist, I'm speaking on you. But this is a video of my violations being violated by criminals who commits treason against the United States and my constitutional rights, Bill of Rights, inalienable rights, human rights, period. And I must address you at this moment. So let's break down the breakdown. First of all, starting with the 36th District Court. First of all, it was Judge Baltimore that I had to dealing with traffic violations and citations. Knowing the laws of corpus delicti, they fail to understand that law, that a court can't proceed unless there's a victim, and a judge cannot act as a lawyer. And this is what these judges fail to do. They fail to uphold their oath of office, and they want to act as lawyer and judge, and don't allow me to face my accuser. And there was no jury in the case, and I have a video of Judge Baltimore in the courtroom actually closing the case and letting me go out the court because they didn't want to deal with a sovereign citizen. Yes, I said sovereign citizen. I am a sovereign citizen, which the government sees as a threat, as criminals, as terrorists, which should never be. We shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but by the content of our character, as Dr. King said. However, these people are in violation daily, and it's a discrimination and against our rights, violating 18 U.S.C. 242, 18 U.S.C. 245, 42 U.S.C. 1983. The next court case, when I wanted to fight the fact of me missing a bumper on my car. Still traffic violations, right? Traffic citations. One was for speeding, but they get you also if you don't have insurance, right? But by law, you don't need insurance unless you've committed or have a damage that's worth more than $700 that you have to pay out of pocket. But again, there was no victim. Again, there was no accident. Again, there was nothing worth $700 that I have to pay to show forth any insurance to cover any damages. There was no damage. Again, violation, right? So this court case was about a missing bumper, and again, they got me for no insurance. I was in court with Judge. This was Judge Robinson, David S. Robinson. The court tried to come back at me and try to sue me from the Baltimore case, and they tried to have their court sue me for something I didn't pay, or I was fighting because they didn't show evidence of any victim and corpus delicti. So they tried to sue me with their lawyers, in which I went after their lawyers and I directly emailed their lawyers information how they're violating my rights, and I put in a lawsuit and a summons to the court. I summoned the court because I was going to sue them for trying to come after me for something that I did not owe the court. It was supposed to be a $25,000 lawsuit. In this court case, Judge David S. Robinson with the 36th District Court denied my payment, $25,000, due to lack of jurisdiction. So they said I had lack of jurisdiction, me coming after them. So now it's a lack of jurisdiction. But however, they felt they had jurisdiction to give me those citations from the case with Baltimore, this citation with the bumper, right? They felt they had jurisdiction then, but now there's no jurisdiction. In my civil case to fight a traffic stop about a missing bumper, which was unconstitutional. They didn't call in the same lawyer that was supposed to be doing a lawsuit before. They had to bring in 36th District Counsel, Attorney Counsel, which was Andrea J. Bradley Baskin, who both in turn, her and Judge David S. Robinson, committed perjury by turning my summons into their summary disposition. Same number in all, 231-55302 was the case number. They used that same case number that I paid for as if it was their own, saying that they summoned me or I had to answer the summons. No, when I'm the plaintiff, they had 21 days to answer the summons. They didn't. Therefore, I won the case. However, they didn't allow me to win the case because I was in the wrong court. I was suing. I was suing the 36th District Court at the 36th District Court, which was off. However, if we was to show no bias, and if they were really a court, and if this person was really a judge, no matter the outcome of point of interest or some type of interest in what they had, what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong, period. When it comes to jurisdiction, really, there is only 3 jurisdictions: land, water, and air. And as I can see, we all were on land. But again, the courts don't go by common law. They go by policies that they have made. Again, against the 14th Amendment on constitutional rights. However, if they were to go with their policy and say I was out of their jurisdiction, I'll accept that and still be able to sue them because of the many citations that I still have on my record. And it's hurting my record that is there. I was denied a job with UPS to drive because on my record they had a suspended license. My license isn't suspended anymore, but it was suspended, and the fact that it was on my record, I couldn't get that job. So the damages that it causes with that on my record being not in their jurisdiction is a constitutional violation. They committed perjury, again, like I said, by switching my summons to their summary disposition and dismissing the case altogether. They failed to look at my evidence, which full details, a pamphlet, a booklet here. They failed to look at the evidence. I even had videos to show. They failed to look at the videos. I sent it to them pre-trial and post-trial. Still failed to look at the evidence. But he looked at the so-called summary disposition that the counsel of the 36th District Court, Andrea J. Bradley Baskin, brought forth out of perjury violation. So I thought to, since money has been an issue for me, having job issues, I thought to still fight the case by going to the Judicial Tenure Commission, which was no help at all, and put in a grievance, and they can only do so much. They have no authority to arrest and all that stuff, but they can just, their job is to basically to see if a judge or a lawyer committed misconduct, in which I already showed them the evidence of that, so I didn't really need to know the answer to that. However, they felt that it wasn't misconduct, so they dismissed that case. So I thought to bring more evidence, because I caught the commissioners that judged that case and dismissed it because they failed to look at evidence. They didn't see the evidence video. They didn't read the paperwork of evidence. They just called it a dismissed case. Again, no evidence was read. I called the commissioners, and one of the commissioners even said they never seen any evidence on that case. And they told me to send the evidence per email to the head person of the Judicial Tenure Commission, and they all will look at it, look back over it. However, it's been a hectic response from them, because they never really got back. They never got back to me about it. When I was trying to go up to the Judicial Tenure Commission myself personally to drop off the evidence, they wouldn't let me up because they felt I was a threat. So I said, well, if y'all feel I'm a threat, I'll have the police escort me up to drop off the legal paperwork. They still didn't allow me to come up. The police got there, which I called the police, to escort me up. But the police didn't escort me up, they escorted me out of a public building. So here we have other violations in which I thought to put in this violation on the 3 officers that put me out. Instead of escorting me up, they escorted me out of a public building, which I called their lieutenant, and the lieutenant said they were wrong to do that. They had no right to put me out that public building. Delivering legal paperwork, I had right to be there. The 3 officers was Felicia T. Peoples, Kevin W. Rogers, and Renette Cantia, the 3rd precinct in Detroit, Michigan, 2875 West Grand Boulevard, Detroit, Michigan, 48202. So that's still under investigation. It's a long process. I wanted them suspended, but at this point, the process is still going on. I want them fired. So they're giving me hell about the way they're going to the way they're going to address these officers, I should say. So I've been trying to reach the Department for Disciplinary, and they said it was the chief investigator. I reached out to the chief investigator and put in a grievance, and they can only do so much. They're just like the Judicial Tenure Commission. They can only do so much. It goes through this process, even though they are supposed to be the head people of disciplinary, right? So now it's a constitutional violation with them. Chief investigator, because they refused to give me authorities over them to go forth and fire these people because the process is too long. I was telling them, still violation of state and federal laws, my 14th Amendment right. They stepped on my rights. These officers don't have immunity when they violate a constitutional right of any citizen. Period. I told them I was an activist and I was holding them accountable. However, they wouldn't still give me the information, so now I called DPD 911 myself to get numbers. They gave me the internal affairs numbers. I'm still waiting on their response. I tried to reach out to the chief of police. He's hard to reach. He has no number. I called the 7th precinct. Officer there said, hey, we don't even have the chief of police number. They don't just give out numbers. They don't give out emails. And again, that these politicians and these police are unreachable in these leading roles in these positions is a federal and state violation. They should be reachable. If they don't want to be reachable, they shouldn't run. If they don't want to be reachable, they shouldn't be elected. Period. They should be out of office. Sit them down. It's a violation of state and federal UCC codes. And they don't care about these codes. You can bring them up all day. These people are in violation of 28 U.S.C. 1361, 42 U.S.C. 1986, and 42 U.S.C. 1983. And I'm calling them out on it. So, the fact that the Judicial Tenure Commission would allow me up, the Executive Director, Lynn Heelan, Esquire, she's in violation, and that desk clerk, whoever the guy name was, who's the secretary up there at the desk, was very rude and very I was denied access to the public building to drop off legal papers. Lynn Heelan and staff ignored my calls and emails, failed to look and keep my evidence to a case. They dismissed with prejudice, violated their oath of office, 18 U.S.C. 3571. You know, and again, violation warning. You know, I'm going to send that to them soon. You know, right now, if money wasn't an issue, I would have been and did all this. You know, and if we would talk about the trust accounts, the Social Security accounts that we have, if we was to talk about how even with the government, with this planned pandemic, you know, and Negro folks, black people still waiting on reparations, we can talk about it. Come on. I'm an activist. This is the time to talk about it. Right along with my violations, we're talking about we the people's violations. We need our answers. These people need to be held accountable. It violates the Bill of Rights. It violates the Constitution. It violates the amendments. It violates the UCC codes. It violates human rights. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish the Constitution for the United States of America. Let's talk about it. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. 14th Amendment. But do they care? Do they care? Let's talk about negotiable instruments. Right? They're not accepting negotiable instruments. They're making it hard for us to know information that we the people should know, to become secure party creditors, to become sovereign citizens on paper, right? And not just through verbal, right? Even though the law is supposed to protect us and the government's supposed to make sure that we're secure under these laws and protected, right? But are they doing that? We are supposed to be discharging debts Money shouldn't be an issue for us when we're old, right? When we have a right to practice law and be what we want to be, they won't allow us. We have to have licenses and tags and all these different things, right? And they get mad when we call them out on it and show them that we know our laws, know our rights. There could be no sanction or penalty imposed upon one because his exercise of constitutional rights. That's Shearer versus Cullen. The practice of law is an occupation of common right. Sims versus Ahearns. A state cannot exclude a person from the practice of law or from any other occupation in any manner or for reasons that contravene the due process clause of the 14th Amendment. Shearer versus Board of Bar Examiners. And that's how these lawyers become lawyers. And they think we don't know. And they think we won't speak on it. Well, I'm speaking on it. I'm calling you out. You guys are wrong. You guys will pay. One way or another. But it's definitely being exposed. And at this point, the 36th District Court owes me $250,000. Really per violation. Right? The Judicial Tenure Commission owes. The DPD, the Chief of Police not being reachable to me. Right? Owes. The governor, the president, the vice president not being aware and concerned about situations like this for we the people. Especially when we're constantly reaching out to these people. I'm constantly reaching out to them by email. But it's hardly no response. Or the same response of nothingness. Because they do nothing about it. Right? But they want our votes, right? And I digress.